Let's talk about drone endgames. What happens if our opponent didn't play it well and they send the child first? You see? The child was sent first. Okay. Pawn is coming from this direction, right? And this is a draw. Okay, but how? How is it a draw, right? So the thing is, the king is not in front of the pawn. That's good for us. Very good for us. So what I would say is to try to stay in front of the pawn. It's much easier to draw this than to win this pawn endgame maybe. So yeah, you don't have to remember so many things like you had to remember from the previous one. So we just stay in front of the pawn. I would not say that you go willingly to the last rank. Let your opponent force you there. You don't go there by yourself. You are not generous. You know, this is not charity that we go there by ourselves. Let our opponent force us there. So we stay in front of the pawn. We go here. We don't go here or here. You can actually, but I would say I don't want to confuse you. Whenever you can, stay in front of the pawn and for sure you are good. If you are more advanced and you tell me, okay, but if the king goes to b2 or d2, this is still a draw. Yes, it is a draw, but I don't want to confuse people when they have to remember 100 little things. Just stay in front of the pawn, because if you go there, you see, you remember when I said, if you have a choice that you don't give the opposition to your opponent because you are envious and you don't want to give it, or you go to a square where your opponent can just take the opposition, it's normally better not to give the opposition, right? And if we go to c2, then they won't be able to take the opposition because there would be traffic jam on c4. Let's just go here. We stay in front of the pawn, king comes closer, and we take the opposition. We don't go to the other side. No. Stay in front of the king, always in front of the king, because your job is to keep the opponent's king away. But you can remember this because the opponent's king always wants to enter your side. You don't want them on your side, do you? So you want to keep them away. Now you step in front of the pawn. Again, this would be a draw as well, but again, I don't want to confuse you. The safest way is to always stay in front of the pawn as much as you can. And now you come back here, and this is why I didn't want to confuse you previously with where to go, because here there is only one move that is a draw. Because if you go here or here, now you are screwed, because the opponent will take the opposition and you will be forced under the pawn. Opponent pushes the pawn and it came without a check. And there you go, Zugzwang. You are forced to move, you have to get out, your opponent promotes, and you cry. So this is why I didn't want to tell you this, because in other cases it works, but when you reach the last rank, it doesn't work. So it's just better to remember that you always step in front of the pawn, right? You don't wander off. No, you just stay in front of the pawn, because in this case, the king cannot take the opposition. And therefore, when they come closer, you will be able to take the opposition. If they don't do anything, then you don't go here thinking, haha, this is opposition, because this is definitely not opposition. You are on a light square, your opponent is on a dark square. No, you just chill in front of the pawn. You just chill in front of the pawn. They come closer. You don't say, oh no, he's coming, and leave the other side. No, you are like, he wants to enter. Well, let's see how they enter. And step in front of the king. King moves back. Again, you step in front of the pawn. Goes back, and that's it. So here again, why is it a problem when the pawn and the king are on the same rank? I will show it to you. Well, there are two ways to draw. Of course, you take the opposition, or you go to d4 in front of the pawn. Both are drawish because the opponent's king won't be able to get in front of the pawn. You can pick anything, but I would say, well, you can just pick one rule maybe, or both rules work actually. Let's say we stay in front of we take the opposition, just to show you the power of opposition also. We got a check, we just stay in front of the pawn. Again, there are trillions of other ways to draw this. I can go wherever, except for no man's land. I don't want to go to no man's land right now. maybe you can still survive, but white calculated when we said we don't step on no man's land. So we stay in front of the pawn, we stay there facing the child and saying hi. King goes there, we go behind the pawn, we stay in front of the pawn, and whenever the king tries to advance, we take the opposition. We go back. This opposition doesn't matter that much because the king is behind the pawn, so no one cares about this opposition. The opposition is more dangerous when the king is in front of the pawn. Like this way it would be a bit trickier if black could take the opposition with king d6. So we just stay here, we chill here. King goes there, took the distant opposition, but no one cares. We just chill in front of the pawn. We chill here in front of the pawn. We chill in front of the pawn. We chill in front of the pawn. We take the opposition. We chill in front of the pawn. 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 We take the opposition. King goes to no man's land. Okay, we chill in front of the pawn. King comes back and it's a draw. If you find yourself in black situation, is there a way to fix it? To get your king in front? No. No, this is why you need to know how to draw this as the defender if the pawn is in front of the king, because that is pretty much doomed for the attacker. This is why you don't touch the pawn and push it in front of the king. Once you push it in front of the king, you cannot repair the damage anymore. Unless your opponent doesn't know this endgame and they mess it up, then you still have some chances. And I would say if they offer a draw, I would say try to do it as much as you can and test them if they know it. You know, this is another thing. Even if it's a drawish pawn endgame and your opponent offers a draw, don't accept it. Try to go as far as you can, test them. Do they know it? Do they not know it? Because it's one thing knowing something is a draw and knowing how it is a draw. So you do not accept the draw. Yeah, maybe your opponent will scream at you after the game or during the game. Block them. It's good. Good. And move on. They knew the draw. Good for them. They didn't, and they dared to scream after the game that, you didn't accept my draw because this was a theoretically drawn endgame. Did you know how? No problem. Learn your endgames. Yeah, so don't. Just play it out. You are the only one who can win. So the famous rook pawn. The famous rook pawn, the famous side pawn in another vein, side pawn, rook pawn, whatever it is. The king is in front of the pawn. Our king is on no man's land. If we were a little bit on the right, this would be winning for black, right? But we are on the side. So what do we do? What do you need to know? Well, the best is if you can make it in front of the pawn, and it doesn't matter if it comes with a check or it doesn't come with a check. No one cares. So you need to reach at least one of these squares in order to make this a draw. If you are coming from far away, you need to reach one of these. Of course, the equivalent squares work on other sides of the board if the pawn is on that side. So for example, if this pawn is here, you do not reach these, right? Because then your opponent will just laugh at you. You need to reach these ones. Okay, but the best is if you can go in the corner. So you go in the corner and you chill in the corner. You don't care about a thing, you just chill in the corner. You chill in the corner, you chill in the corner, you chill in the corner. You take the pawn if your opponent allows you, and it's a draw. So we just stay in front of the pawn, we chill in front of the pawn, we chill in front of the pawn, we chill in front of the pawn, we take the opposition, we chill in front of the pawn, we chill in front of the pawn, we chill in front of the pawn, and that's a draw. Okay. Now the opponent's king is front of the pawn, but they don't have one rank between the pawn and the king, right? So now what to do here? There is only one move that is winning. We take the opposition like we said it previously, king f2, we take the opposition, and we keep taking the opposition here because they cannot take it back. That's why this is a draw. The pawn hasn't crossed the half line yet, like we said earlier. The king is in front of the pawn, but they don't have at least one rank between them. So we just take the opposition. You don't wander in front of the pawn because this will be a loss. So you do not enter. You are the defender. You don't want to enter your opponent's side. You are the defender. You are the one trying to keep this situation on, you know, this door situation. You try not to let the opponent's king in. You do not want to enter. You are the defender. Why do you want to enter? You do not enter. You don't have any reasons to enter. So no, you don't go there. You don't enter. You just keep taking the opposition. You take the opposition. You take the opposition. You take the opposition. And now that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I will see you later. Bye bye.